Welcome to the Sports Basket, the only show that gives you action-packed, cutting-edge, and exciting sports news, results, and interviews. Nna ke bidwa la go tshada di ba pile mme a ke no se ke na le morwarre mme sa letlakala
Mr. Wapil,
o tenre my brother, I want us to start with the exciting local news that we have for our viewers at home. O ba bolela gore go ntse go diragala eng sa le rile.
let's today a question go re simolone high note wa bona without me complaining hata I complain too much a go gompieko re tsene hala ka go letlala dikgang tse di monatse kere ha ile gore wa mo gopola se di lembo seja mo tshwara dino wa mme o kile ba le ka ko team ya Bloemfontein Celtic ya bomme gompieko ke ora mmona a sign a 2-year and 5 months deal le Sundowns. And very exciting news.
Very exciting news. Hape re le ba gore even le yone the league ya bomme gone ko South Africa ne ba bona le an injection ya new sponsor ya lore
yes.
The league will be fully sponsored, fully functionally ba se ba tsamaya and for Buseja to go from a team like Celtic to a big team like Sundowns it's a major step in her career.
Thata very soon re bona ba bangwe le bone makgarajana ba ntse ba mosala morago and eventually re tana le formidable team le rona ya bo mmerra ra wa itso re ntse re thorontshanyana go ska henyana mme ha re ntse re ba bona ba ntse ba bidya go di team tse di kgolwane yana ra itumela thata
and it actually shows that they're actually growing. Now ke batla re tswele look now into even more local news le rona le tsone anong. You remember last time we bua gore Prisons Women ke yone le gore e tabe emetse Botswana ko the COSAFA Championship.
Yeah, COSAFA.
Unfortunately, I have very sad news. Re tata our viewers re ba isa go di mo le go tase ba ta re tshwarela. Unfortunately, Prisons 11 ya bo mme anong they will no longer be participating due to financial constraints. Di khanza madi you know gore the situation e re le mo gone teams are struggling financially. Now we see them pulling out of the tournament. Me ano re bona ba replace wa ke Double Action.
Okay.
Double Action ke yone le re te be emetse Botswana and Double Action is a team e leng gore in the women's league gone mo ga is a formidable team.
True.
The national team has 2 or 3 key players in ore these are from Double Action. So even though the team ya Prison se tswa go tsana Double Action we wish them all the best and but re tsela re ba ta dira tiro e tshwanang.
Hopefully so but look at when a Double Action ke team e le gore ka e tshepa thota but not taking anything away from Double Action. Every time any such kind of regional or international competitions, season the team we had to pull out due to financial constraints. Whether whether COSAFA or careful. Something is not going right there. Something is not right.
But for Double Action, we hope they will. But that papa is a flagger, and they will actually do well.
I get it. Hey, looking into other more exciting news. I don't know if are they only exciting to me? Can le Batswana bone ba ta di receive as exciting news. Batswana rata paperwork. But finally, the FA has decided to do away with blue books in FIFA Connect, electronics, digital registration of players, digital registration of coaches, digital registration of referees, digital registration of technical team. No, this thing can be done pre-match preparation. You can just go onto FIFA Connect or watch Double Action is submit are they all registered? Is a more kind of blue book no man.
And
exciting news.
The digitalization is something that we call for. This issue at the blue book, bogologolo nyana gantsi ntse go na le mathata ngwe motshameki a tshwantse ra tswe go stop message ngwe go so ngwe ha ngo go the blue book a bobo.
Blue book.
Then the player comes to that transfer because blue so this online system is for the best. I hope our teams, men, women, youth structures, they can take advantage of this. But now we are shifting. That old system. We are more into digital. Even adding on to this issue. Even now the scouts, they go onto the system.
Exactly.
Ba tsena mo FIFA Connect. If they ba utoletse motshameki mo Botswana, they go on the system ba check ora me motho re mo utoletseng ke ene o go teng o teng. So it's actually welcome developments there. And we hope our teams ba tla di amogela ka diata tso pele. Now, I want us to look into even more exciting news. We saw the khanza gompieko ke dikganyela tse di now shifting to tennis news. Local tennis news ya no ra re bona ile gore ga one poane an official wa tennis mo Botswana ra is going to represent Botswana me ele a referee or ele mokatisi or an official go the Olympics le gore re to di bona di diragala. And for tennis is a sport in Botswana that are making strides in the right direction.
Indeed.
They recently got accreditation system certification of coaches. Now you see empires and officials from Botswana going all the way to the highest level of competition
Olympics
to officiate.
Yeah.
So for Tennis Association and how we can wish them all the best.
I'm sure whether ba dirile session ba contract melao ya ga Dr. Masuku they are celebrating. It's worth celebrating.
Wonderful
you
news.
Being
wonderful
called
news.
to officiate at the Olympics, that's the highest level of sports. That's the pinnacle of sports. So I'm very happy for her. So we'll be waiting to see how she performs. But Jaka Witera, this is not her first officiating at highest level. Australian Open qualifiers. She's not new to do things in Jana. Those are the Olympics. Stage fright. No, she's been there before. She's gonna act cool and show them that yes, man, I'm Juan. I've been here before.
That's actually something that is actually very good. Now, I want us to continue. Even more local news. What do we have today?
Now, you're always making me the bearer of bad news.
You
know, I'm always the bearer of bad news. Now, we have Ranalma Karajwana Amabiti, Naledi Marape, Le Natalie Banda. Exceptional chess players. If you remember correctly, le individual championships is currently on Malawi. Accompanied by Mrs. Marape herself, But guess what? These athletes are self-sponsored.
On national duty.
On national duty. Ko mark my words. Hababwa. That's not a good thing to do. Let's always support Banavarona. Let's show them support.
And even Natalia Banda, ranked number 6, Naledi Marape, ranked number 7. Even the rankings, they are super horeke, the athletes by Lore, they are performing well. So we hope that the relevant associations, the relevant institutions, athletes should not go on national duty by sponsor, bearing the flag.
Exactly. And I was looking at one of the pictures that were on social media, holding that flag high. Banaba are very proud to be representing our country, but where is our country? Where are we in support for Banab?
For our
I hope something will be done about this. I get
Now, I want us to now move on into looking into international news. Now, we know that the Olympics are coming up. We know that qualification events are going on. Athletes are training. Athletes are preparing. There's actually an online petition that's going on. The citizens of Japan currently there's a coronavirus outbreak. May the Olympics is going to pull around 10,000 plus athletes and officials in the city already be hosting that tournament. That online petition in we have around 350,000 signatures.
That's a lot.
It's a lot, but even though the Olympics but the implications, looking at the coronavirus situation, they may be detrimental.
It's a double-edged sword. On the other side, how when these people are coming, more attention or more medical attention is going to be redirected to these people by the But yet, Japan as a national right now, the rate of COVID-19 is rising. Yaba overpower. So now if Bapolo go deal with the locals, what's going to happen now when you bring in more foreign nationals for the Olympics, what are you going to divert all the medical resources that you have, the focus to that? And then what's going to happen to the entire Japanese nationals? So, and something has to be done.
Olympic I'm sure it's upcoming now, and we hope before the Olympics they're just around the corner.
True.
Our viewers at home, I hope you enjoyed the segment we had for you today. And we're going for a short break. When we come back, we have exciting results for you. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the Sports Basket. And before we continue with our results, we have some even more exciting local news, where we'll see in the inaugural Basketball African League, we'll see Dorothy Dot Okosha from Botswana will represent the country as an official in that competition. So we're going to continue to more results, starting first looking into international news, international results in the world of football.
Yes, what was happening over this weekend, La Liga nero tshweresente, EPL nero tshweresente, CAF nero tshweresente, Confederation gore no go le go ntsenyana ra ke tsore o di bone yang ka kore
ha ke tsore no ikgaogantse ya ngwe lebeletse kae o tlogetse kae.
You can never be enough to watch all of these things. Something has to be done.
Now, La Liga news. Yeah. Levante, they actually shared the sports like Cadiz Badrajalo 2-2. Yeah. Everyone Atletico Bilbao. Never fenya jalo stopper sa Celta Vigo. Ba se fenya lo ka stopper ka noze pedi go lefela. Rabona lo stopper sa Osasuna. Se fenya stopper sa Real Sociedad ka no e le nngwe go lefela. Jaanong there were key 3 matches iragala.
Yeah.
Re bona ile hore Atletico ba ne ba kokotela sepekere jalo mo keseng ya Real Valladolid ba ba fenya ka notse pedi go no ile nngwe. Me ra bona ile hore sopa sa Real Madrid le sone ne sa fenya le sopa sa Barcelona ne sa fenya. Me ano we all knew what that meant.
Yeah.
We mentioned last time where this La Liga title race is going to go
to the wire.
Yeah. And look what happened. Re bona Atletico Madrid all the teams are they defend and actually win the La Liga.
Interesting news, it was very exciting and it's refreshing to finally see Atletico Madrid it is exciting and
after a dominance 7 years, Barcelona Real Madrid
finally. I'm hoping next season we'll see somebody else apart from this three now. I'm here and we are here to compete in that.
Now, let's look into even more international news. What more news do you have?
Now, this weekend, I pushed my attention a little bit into EPL.
Mm-hmm.
We saw Arsenal Copanile Brighton, Arsenal Fenya 2-0, and then Aston Villa, Le Chelsea. Leone Helalo went 2-1 if you were Aston Villa. Rabona Fulham Newcastle. I wasn't expecting this one. Newcastle. I thought maybe Fulham but unfortunately it didn't happen. Newcastle is at 2-0. We also saw matching Reboni Sheffield le Burnley 1-0 and it was a very exciting game. It was a very exciting game for team Taylor. This has the but it was a very exciting match right in a weekend there mirror.
City into the top 4. The loss Leicester City.
Football is not fair.
Can I imagine?
But then again, it's football, it's sports, it's always like that. One man's disadvantage is another man's advantage, and we saw it happening here. Leicester dropping points and Chelsea what one and in the last few games,
And jaaka re ka itse gore the league ne re bona lo le Manchester City ke bone the champions of the EPL le bone on their last game ba thapolotse Satara beating Everton 5-0. I think it was a way to celebrate. Gape ne ra bona even a notable event e le gore anong it was the last match ya ga Sergio Kun Aguero.
Yeah.
No one can doubt what Aguero has done for Manchester City.
This man has done a lot for this team for over the years. Nka se ha khamala ha ka tsoga ka moso ba mo diretse statue nyana go City go mo leboga. He has done a lot. You look at all the notable wins they look at in the recent years. He was there and he was the man to watch. He was the man to carry the team to say, let's go, boys.
Very true.
But now I think now he's done his part. He has taught them everything that he could teach them. Most of the time, benching. We have learned a lot from Kun Aguero. So, yeah, I'm very happy for the lad.
And we'll be monitoring to see where he lands next time. Now, I want us to go into the Confederations quarterfinal results.
Yeah.
Cotton Sport, ba fenya stopper sa ASC Giraffe. Bona le Raja Athletic, ba ne ba kelemetse stopper sa Orlando Pirates. Ba fenya motshameko ka 4-0. Ra bona yalo Ineiba ne ba tshameka maleka stopper sa Pyramid FC. And then e be re bona ile re JSC Kabali le CS Faxien ba tshameka maleka 1-1. Me anong re lebile gore the semi-final fixtures di tla bodintse jang. Re bona ile re Pyramids FC ke stopper sa go Gepeto ra stopper sa Madimadirra se tlo bosana le stopper sa Raja Athletic. Re bona jalo Cotton Sport ba to ba tsaya solo sa JSC Kabali. So the last four wa gona bona gore is very tense, very tight.
Yeah, it's a tightly contended cup. But matho ga go thata because attention has been pulled elsewhere. CAF Champions League. First hela tla ke simolle hela gore ka go bua ke mennem phata. I was watching match wa Wydad le MC Alga where Wydad won 1-0 and on aggregate over Banta MC Alga ka 2-1. But we saw a very unfortunate incident. Our very own local referee, the sprinter, Joshua Bondo, Atiku Akidi player, Rata MC Alga, and Homo Hanja Samanate Lesen Hotel, who clear on Takatrain weekend there, you weekend now without Senior, Katazilla Hell, Tenegasai to Mela Lesen Tota. So I'm hoping for serious reprimand for this team. And this reprimand, as I do atmosphere, as I do I do a manlemang abona. This team is being reprimanded for that behavior. We do not want such hooliganism in football.
And you know, I actually saw the incident that you were talking about. And the sprinter alika go tshega nyone motshameko ne ba mosusumela ba matumela mme go le corona ba mo dikaganyeditse even the sprinter he actually had to sprint jaaka lina la gagwe. We saw other games there. Simba Elebahale Kaizer Chiefs. After Kaizer Chiefs, better Simba 4-0. Simba had so bona when Asania Yalola Kaizer Chiefs 3-0. Luckily Kaizer Chiefs Yakona who win on aggregate 4-3. Reboni Sundowns Leone Elebahale Al Akhli Leone Helaya Lora. There were a lot of unfortunate scenes. Rebona Loher Sundowns fans almost bunti jabone holding placards or either on social media guy basabuise re Pito Musimane sent hela ka gore he's a former coach Yano Hompieko is on the opposite side bang ba bua gore o buile gore Sound is a small team. Yes, comparing Al Ahly and Sundowns, the other one is smaller than the other, but no harm done there. Our fellow countrymen now even Mogadishu, he has made it. Most South Africa, he can actually made it. You know, they should have been happy about that. But football or the result they hadn't get in Namona. I want us to continue our Formula 1 news. Monaco Grand Prix.
but bon before re bolela ka ya Monaco
Eh,
tla ke tlanyetse Batswana pele ke ba neele the draw ya the semi-final or something that they have to look out to. Wydad e tla be na le Kaizer Chiefs, and then Esperance e tla be le bogale Al Ahly. We bone match o rat
That is
as
my
a match
game.
watch.
That is my game.
Over to you over tse ka Monaco Grand Prix.
F1 Monaco Grand Prix. This is the creme de la creme of motor. Formula One. If you know this event, every driver is looking to the Monaco Grand Prix.
How long Africa or ba go lowa?
Before I want to look into the results.
Yeah.
Narabonalo in pole position.
Yeah.
Red Bull, Max Van Verstappen.
Yeah.
Rabonalo Ferraris, Saints Junior Lenano. I khota in position number 2. Everyone Norris from McLaren at in position number 3.
Yeah.
It was not a good day for Hamilton.
It was not a good day for him.
Finishing in position number 7.
Yeah.
Now I want to. How is the leaderboard looking?
Can I encounter who? Okay, it was not a good day for Hamilton, and I was just like, okay, fine, he didn't do good or more Monaco. But you know what?
Hey.
I know how to level the leaderboard. How to level Van Verstappen at the top. Hamilton number 2. What happened?
And Max Van Verstappen, Red Bull
and it's going to be very difficult now to bring him down from there,
because he's gaining momentum.
Because he's gaining momentum, and Hamilton can actually be beat.
Bottas did not. The pit stop. One wheel comes off the other lapa. This is not the first time Bottas analyzed incidents.
It's not.
Around 2018, he had two incidents where he actually lost on winning positions. The issue of the pit crew, the issue of mechanics.
Something not right.
So something, I don't know if it's the technical team or if it's the sponsor or if it's the factory team, but Bottas needs to reevaluate.
True.
Because you can't keep on losing races on technicalities. Unfortunately, my brother,
until we meet again. Thank you, sir.
Now, when we come back from our short break, we have a very exciting interview for you with Dr. Caroline Brown, technical director from Botswana Football Association. Don't miss it. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the Sports Basket, the only show that gives you exciting interviews. And today we have a very exciting guest, an interesting guest, who I'll just give her the platform for her to introduce herself. Doctor, can you please introduce yourself and let our viewers know who you are and you're from?
Thank you so much for having me. My name is Dr. Caroline Braun. I'm from Germany, sent through the DOSB project together with the German FA and the Federal Foreign Office for the long-term project in Botswana.
Yes, thank you very much. Now, Doctor, I want us to get straight into it. You know, what you mentioned where you're from and the different organizations that you're attached to. Can you kindly tell us the role that you play and what really goes on into that role?
So Botswana asked the DOSB through the National Olympic Committee for assistance in the football. And since 60 years, the DOSB is supporting federations, not only in football, also in basketball and handball and other sports, to actually send an expert to assist in different areas. And for the Botswana Football Association, we agreed on coach education, talent development, and also advising on the different structures we do have and how to best bring Botswana football to a sustainable approach.
Yes, you mentioned something that I liked. You mentioned talent development and coach education. Now, I want us to now go into the different projects that you've been engaged in, that you've accomplished and that you are currently undertaking, so that our viewers can even appreciate the importance of such partnerships.
Absolutely. So for coach education, the most important thing is a sustainable approach, which means that there must be a clear coaching pathway. So we developed the D license, which has now 2 modules. We did a new syllabus, and now we are aligning to the CAF coaching convention. So actually, a pyramid has a lot of coaches on the bottom. That means we have already trained over 300 coaches in that stage, and we also donated some equipment to those coaches that they are actually able to implement what we have taught them in the classroom and on the pitch.
That is actually quite very interesting. Now, Doctor, I want us to now look into talent development. You mentioned talent development. What is the necessity to have a functional talent development program and structures in place?
First of all, we need to mention that talent development doesn't come overnight. In some countries, it took, for example, for the German FA, it took 10 years. In Spain, it was similar, until you can actually see the results. But there's always a starting point, and we have to start and set up a clear structure and a clear process on, it doesn't matter if you're born at the Okavango Delta or you're born in Kalahari, close, and there's no football. Everybody needs to have the chance to be able to go and play football, and also to be able to be scouted. So we need a clear system behind that.
That is actually quite very true. And you know, talent development is the platform that gives the athlete access to being scouted and to actually develop in sports. Now, Doctor, you've been in Botswana for 2.5 years, if I'm not mistaken. Now, I want you to just give us an insight into the current landscape in Botswana sports and the key areas that we may need to improve on for us to become a powerhouse, because we actually like to develop sports-wise and actually compete at the highest levels.
We always want to have the results, like I already mentioned, right?
Yeah,
we want to compete with our national teams and win COSAFA tomorrow, or also qualify. But there is a lot to do behind the scenes to upgrade the coaches, who are actually the national coaches, then to upgrade our players, and therefore we need a clear national philosophy, a playing philosophy for Botswana. That means whenever you put on the shirt of BFA, you need to know, how do I behave on the pitch, how do I behave off the pitch, what is our playing philosophy, and also for the coaches the same, that they are having the same coaching style, that they're following the same rules of play, and then we'll get somewhere.
That is actually very true. Now, Doctor, I want us to now look into the different aspects that we have in sports. You know, it's not just what we see on the field, but there's a lot of what goes on behind the scenes, the different components. What is the importance of having those different components working together at a functional level?
There are a lot of components which needs to fit. Obviously, there's the technical part where this is my specific area, but then there's the commercial side of football, there's the admin side of football. All those functions have to work together, not only at the BFA, also in the regions and in each and every single club, so that we can enable our players to play and our coaches also enable them to coach on the pitch, and all the rest around other people are taking care of.
And that would actually give us a holistic program that will actually assist us in developing sports in Botswana. Now, Doctor, before we wrap up our conversation, what would you say are some of the challenges that maybe you've come across looking at the context of sports, particularly in Botswana, a developing country, so sports is not really at an elite level. So what could you say are maybe the challenges that you've come across?
Always easy to talk of challenges. It's more complicated to talk of the solutions. But nonetheless, I mean, the infrastructure, we really need to improve and have a close look inside. I should train on the pitch. I also play on the weekend if I have to play on natural grass with the national team. So also they need to train on natural grass. But nonetheless, there are many areas we can look in. And one important thing is, if we really want to lift up our sport, it must be clear that sport and football is a job. It is a profession, and it's not a waste of time. Not in school, not in university. It's actually helping if the children, and there are studies, right? If children do a lot of sports, they are better in school. They're better in learning mathematics from a psychological point of view, and they are able to concentrate more. So we really need to change that mindset. And I think if we start there and changing that mindset, the kids are in school and are able to do the sport a whole year, not only football. Some will be good in softball, some will be good in athletics. So give them the chance to choose which sport they want to go, and then assist them in school and change the mindset throughout university up until the actual job, because sport and football can and should be a profession.
You actually mentioned some of the things that we actually keep on talking about, and something that we actually agree with. Now, before I let you go, Doctor, you mentioned partnerships between different institutions, organizations, countries, and associations. How key are those partnerships when you talk about developing sports?
Partnerships are always important. First of all, for example, we do have different partnerships, of course, now with the German FA, but also personally. I'm also a FIFA technical leadership expert. That means I'm working with other technical directors to develop them, to give them workshops all over the world. Right? And in COSAFA, we are also working together with the TDs too, because we all have the same problems in the COSAFA regions. The federation are struggling with the same. So why not come together, share your experience, and then find the best way forward? So partnerships and working together on an institutional level, and also for the individuals to be connected to the other federation. That is one thing I really, really recommend, and we have seen it. Not only myself should be connected with FIFA or being excellent an expert, also other persons in Botswana, other coaches need to be developed so that they are either sitting in a CAF panel, or they are CAF instructors, or even also we can help them to upgrade to FIFA.
That is actually true, and you actually said a mouthful, Doctor. And let me just take this time, Doctor, to thank you for coming here and availing yourself for this interview.
Always a big pleasure. Thank you so much.
Yes. I hope you enjoyed our conversation we had for you today. And we mentioned of all the different aspects that go into sports development, coaching, and whatever you can think of. And remember that this show was proudly brought to you by Sports Academy and Kudura TV. And from me, Shadai Dibapile, and my co-host, Mr. Letlakala, we'll see you next time.
Cut.